Hello, welcome to Storytime with Miss Jane. We are going to read 3 new books today. The first one is called Big Al by Andrew Clements Yoshi. This one looks like a good one. Okay. In the wide blue sea, there was a very friendly fish named Big Al. You could not find a nicer fish. But Big Al was also very, very scary. Other fish seemed to have at least one friend. Some had many, but Big Al had none. He did not really blame the other fish. How could he expect little fish to trust a great big fish with eyes and skin and teeth like his? So Big Al was lonely and cried big salty tears into the big salty sea. But Big Al really wanted friends, so he worked at it. First, he tried wrapping himself up with seaweed. He thought it was a great disguise, but no one else did. Who wants to stop and talk to a floating plant that has big, sharp teeth? Then he thought that if he puffed himself up round, the other fish would laugh and see how clever and silly he could be. All they saw was how big he could be, and they steered clear. Very early one morning, Big Al went down to the bottom and flopped and wiggled himself into the sand until he was almost covered up. He looked much smaller. When the other fish came near, Big Al talked and joked with them and had a delightful time. But then one scratchy little grain of sand got stuck in his gills, and he sneezed. When the clouds of sand cleared away, all the other fish were gone. Big Al even changed his color one day so he could look like he belonged to a school of tiny fish passing by. He bubbled along with them for a while, laughing and feeling like he was just one of the crowd. But he was so big and clumsy that when all the tiny fish darted to the left and then quickly back to the right, Big Al just plowed straight ahead. He went bumping and thumping right into the little fish. Before he could even say, "Excuse me," they were gone, and he was all alone again, sadder than ever. Just when Big Al was starting to be sure that he would never have a single friend, something happened. He was floating along sadly, watching some of the smaller fish, and was wishing they would come closer. As he watched, a net dropped down silently from above, and in an instant, they were caught. Big Al forgot all about being lonely, and he forgot all about being sad. His eyes bulged out bigger and rounder than ever, and with a mighty flip of his tail, he opened his mouth and charged straight at that net. The net was strong, but Big Al was stronger. He ripped right through it, and all the little fish rushed out through the hole. But when Big Al tried to turn around and go out of the hole, he got all tangled up in the net. He was stuck. Oh no. The net went higher and higher toward the bright surface of the sea, and the little fish watched Big Al as he disappeared above them. When the little fish were able to speak again, all they talked about was the huge, wonderful fish that had saved them. How great to be free, but what a shame that the big fellow had been captured. Just then, there was a tremendous crashing splash above them, and the small fish dashed away. Was it the net again? Not at all. It was Big Al. Those fishermen took one look at him and threw him right back into the ocean. And now there is one huge, puffy, scary, fierce-looking fish in the sea who has more friends than anyone else. Big Al. Oh, the end. Isn't that a nice book? I really liked that one. Big Al. That's a good one. Our next book is called Ice Bear in the Steps of the Polar Bear. And it was written by Nicola Davies and illustrated by Gary Blythe. I wonder what this one is about. Let's see. Let us see. The Steps of the Polar Bear. Our people, the Inuit, call it Nanook. White bear, ice bear, sea bear, others say. It's a bear, all right, but not like any other. It's a polar bear made for our frozen world. Look at those beautiful pictures. No frost can steal polar bear's heat. It has a double coat, one of fat, 4 fingers deep, and one of fur, which has an extra trick for beating cold. Its hairs aren't really white, but hollow, filled with air to stop the warmth escaping. And underneath, the skin is black to soak up heat. Look at that. Its ears sit close to its head, neatly out of cutting winds, and its feet are furred for warmth and grip. So polar bear stays warm no matter what. It will sleep away a blizzard in a drift and wash in snow. Polar bear is a great hunter. It outweighs 2 lions and makes a tiger look small. A single paw would fill this page and shred the paper with its claws. Look at that. That is a big footprint, isn't it? It can run as fast as a snowmobile or walk and walk for days on end. It can swim 100 miles without a rest to cross the sea between the ice floes, then shake the water from its fur and walk again. Nothing stops polar bear. Seals are its prey. It hunts them far out on the frozen sea, waiting at a breathing hole or stalking them as they sleep. Polar bear is a white shape in a white world, invisible until it's too late. A lightning paw strike, a crushing bite, and the seal is gone. Yeah, look at that. But polar bear is gentle too. Mother polar bear in her winter snow den tends her newborn cubs. She lifts their tiny bodies in her great paws and suckles them. In spring, she'll take them hunting, and for 2 years she'll protect and feed them until they've learned, like her, to hunt alone. Alone, through summers when the sun tracks up and down the sky and one day passes to another with no night between. Alone, through winters, when the sun never rises and the stars of the great bear sparkle in the darkness. Alone until the paths of 2 lone hunters cross. They'll wave their heads in greeting, clasp jaws so tenderly they wouldn't break an egg. Cautiously they'll try each other's strength. Then play giants flowing in the whiteness, tumbling, beautiful as snowflakes. Until they part and slowly go their separate ways. We, Inuit, we watched Nanook as we first watched when the earth seemed new, and polar bears showed us how to love the Arctic, how to hide from blizzards in a house of snow, how to hunt for seals with patience and with speed, how to live in starlit day and sunlit night. Many polar bears and Inuit have passed since then, and still we share our world with gratitude and pride. That is a really nice book. The end, right? Look at that. Polar ice bear. That is a nice one. All right, and our last book of this session is called Pet Show by Ezra Jack Keats. I wonder what this one is about. Have you read this story before? This is a new one for me. Everyone was talking about the pet show. The kids told each other about the pets they would bring. Max said he would bring ants. I'm gonna bring my mouse, bragged Roberto. What are you gonna bring, Archie? The cat? Uh-huh, said Archie. The next day, they all got ready for the pet show. Where's the cat? Archie called. Anyone see the cat? Archie and Willie looked in the cat's favorite hangouts, while Peter and Susie searched up and down the street. No cat. Archie's mother came to the window. Where can that cat be? He asked her. You know how independent he is, Archie. You never know when to expect him. But I expect him now. It's time for the pet show. Maybe he's inside somewhere. Archie ran into the building. After a while, he came to the window. I can't find him. I looked all over the place. You'd better start without me. Gee, we're sorry, Archie, said Peter. So long, said Susie. Willie, they got to the entrance. A lot of people were already there. Just then, Roberto's mouse took off. Willie chased the mouse. Roberto chased Willie. Peter chased Roberto. Susie chased Peter, and the show started. Line up your pets, please, the judges called. They walked up and down, looking carefully at every pet and asking, how old is your pet? And what's your pet's name? Everyone got a prize for something. There was the noisiest parrot, the handsomest frog, the friendliest fishes, the yellowest canary, the busiest ants, the brightest goldfish, the longest dog, the fastest mouse, the softest puppy, the slowest turtle, and many more. As the last prize was being awarded, someone shouted, "Look, here comes Archie!" "Hello, you're just in time," the judge said. "What's in that bag?" "My pet. May I see it, please?" At that moment, the cat showed up. The other judge called out, "A blue ribbon to the nice lady for the cat with the longest whiskers." Before anyone could say anything, he pinned a blue ribbon on the old woman and came back to Archie. "What kind of pet have you got in that jar?" "A germ," answered Archie. And what's your germ's name?" Archie thought for a moment. "Al," he said. The judges whispered to each other. "A blue ribbon for Al, the quietest pet in the show," the judges announced. As everyone was leaving, the old woman came over to Archie. "He's really your cat, isn't he?" she said. "You should have the ribbon." "It's okay," Archie said. "You keep it." and he ran to join his friends. They passed the old woman on their way home. "Thank you for the ribbon," she called. Archie smiled. "It looks good on you. See you around." "See you around," she said. Oh, that's a nice book. Okay, so join me for our next reading time, Story Time with Miss Jane. Bye-bye.